We're here for another edition of the Outlook series, and I'm your host, Mike Lippis. Although the labor shortage for the DC is expected to continue for the next several years, flexible and cost-effective solutions to voice-enabled warehouse operations exist today. Embracing these innovative voice solutions will allow retailers, manufacturers, wholesalers, and others to gain the benefits of improved productivity and reduced errors in a reasonable time frame and budget. The evolution of operations is often the most available route for many organizations to future improvements, and adding voice technology embraces and extends what has already been optimized in the warehouse, rather than ripping out and replacing technology and the capital expense associated with wholesale changes. Voice enabling warehouse operations can positively impact the labor crunch in the DC at a time when it's needed the most. Now joining us to discuss distribution center labor optimization with voice-enabled technologies is Bob Bova. Bob is the President and Chief Executive Officer of AccuSpeechMobile. Bob Bova, welcome to the Outlook series.
Thanks, Michael. It's great to be here.
Hey, Bob. Now, to what extent has the labor shortage put pressure on warehouses?
The labor, it's really a dual perspective. It's in 2 points. First point is there's been an incredible increased demand for products. That big product demand has been really pushed by e-commerce sales because everyone's home ordering online, and also just for standard household staples. People need things delivered to their home, and also some folks are buying more and more of things just so that they have it in stock at their house. So that really significantly increased demand for products has put a lot of pressure on the warehouses for increased productivity, throughput, and there just hasn't been enough people to be able to handle that. And also primarily because folks also, because of COVID, either were afraid to work or they couldn't go to work. So the issue of the demand, and also just the demand for that workforce, again, as we were just discussing, the fact is that there are so many jobs available right now in the distribution and warehousing market that there's just not enough people to fill those opportunities. Even as we get back to a sense of normalcy and folks coming back to work and feeling more comfortable being at work, there still is not enough people to handle this demand for products. And this is something, like you had just previously mentioned, this is something we're going to see for the next 2 to 4 years. It's not going to go away anytime soon.
Are you seeing the labor shortage driving an interest to maximize worker productivity now and moving into the future?
I believe we're still going to see a significant spike in demand for products, and e-commerce will continue to expand and evolve. So the ability for any type of a distribution company, whether you're a manufacturer or you're a 3PL, is going to have to look at strategies to maximize as much productivity as possible and also accuracy. So there's more returns now. So companies are going to be working very, very hard to deliver more with less or the same amount of people, and they're going to really have to look at the short term, because currently a lot of these folks are just bombarded with the long game strategy, with very, very extensive and expensive robotic solutions, other different types of opportunities so that they can increase productivity and accuracy. But they're really hammered with, what can we do today? What can I do now? How do I solve problems that I know I'm going to have in the next 36 months? And the biggest challenge that they have is meeting these near-term goals so that they can continue to do a really good job delivering to their customers, and also just provide the products and services to these folks as quickly and as effectively as possible.
Now, are seasonal demands putting greater pressure on DC managers?
That's a great question. Ordinarily, It's very true, but we just had the greatest seasonal demand spike in our lifetime due to COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So that demand spike is the largest we've ever seen. The increase for throughput gains with fewer workers has put an immense amount of pressure on organizations to improve their processes. And it's caused them to look internally and think, okay, we can no longer just sit on our hands and think that everything's going to be okay and we can just hire 10 more people when it gets a little more busy. This cataclysmic event has made everyone take a hard look in the mirror and say, okay, how can we continue to make this better? What do we look at in terms of our process? What do we look at in terms of our products? What do we look at in terms of technology? And a lot of companies, of course, have done so much already to optimize these operations. They've integrated barcode scanning. They've optimized, reviewed, and maybe replaced and updated their warehouse management, WCS systems. If you look at a 3PL, you've got multiple customers in a single facility, and they continuously try to improve all the time, delivering through these segmented processes, or augment what they're doing with the right technology, with the right upgrades, so that they can continue to provide the type of throughput and speed of delivery that everyone is expecting now.
Now, to what extent is the inability to attract and retain a qualified hourly workforce a priority in the DC?
Well, there is a lot of press for Amazon, primarily because they have gone sincerely robotic, but most organizations aren't Amazon. Not everybody has those types of resources, and not everybody has that type of straightforward we do it one way type of strategy. Most organizations, the people are the number one resource to get their work done efficiently and effectively. So the inability to attract and retain has become, if not the number one challenge, it's got to be in the top three. The ability for them to utilize their folks, especially their folks who have been there for a while, and to retain them, so that's where you get some creativity in terms of how do we do things better. The folks that have been there the longest, who are facing front in terms of these processes, are the ones that can come up with sincere strategies and ideas as to how to make it better. So it is certainly, it has to be in the top two for every company that's running distribution and a warehouse.
Now, with regard to retail, wholesale, and manufacturing operations, is an evolution in tools and processes more appropriate than a major overhaul to operations?
That's a great question. The fact is that while companies and organizations, 3PLs, are playing the long game and looking at potentially what an investment in some sophisticated robotic technology can do, most organizations are always in improvement mode. They're always looking at constantly making what they do better. Their WMS system, is it meeting all of their needs? The applications that they push out to the users, are the processes as effective and quick as they could possibly be? Are they utilizing their people the best way that they can be? So they want to hone and exploit their investments that they've already made. Many of these companies have made significant technology investments in brand new Zebra scanners, because now they've moved to Android and they support the new wearable HD 4000. So glasses, evolve into potentially the mix in terms of a product set that these companies are looking at. So the growth of e-commerce is going to continue to really, force is not a great word, but it's really going to push all these organizations to continue to review these processes and continue the technology that they've already made investment in to see how they can do it better.
Now, do you see firms leveraging high-velocity distribution centers to gain a competitive advantage?
I think so. I think that organizations that have in-house operations and work very hard to distribute their own products will look at 3PLs and other organizations that really have an expertise in this area, and new companies that are coming into the market now, especially companies. Most companies now that are coming into the space don't have the existing infrastructure to handle the volumes that that they're seeing. So to be able to look at all of the potential opportunities that are out there to solve this problem, you can look at some third-party logistics providers in terms of trucking, transportation. There are lots of opportunities and lots of choices. The ability for companies to understand what's going to work best for them is exactly what you will see. And I think that as volumes continue to grow, maintaining and growing partnerships in that particular area is going to allow them to hit the marks better. Absolutely.
How has voice recognition technology in the warehouse evolved?
The voice technology in the warehouse has been around for decades, and any technology that's been around for decades evolves. So what we do and what we've seen is that voice has been a very tried and true and a dependent upon technology in the warehouse, like say for 20 years. The ability to have voice technology and voice automation on the edge really changes the game. And when I say on the edge, you've got customers now that are moving towards cloud-based WMS systems because they have multiple warehouses that they want to push applications out to. Now the ability to have voice recognition and voice automation, text-to-speech, speech-to-text, voice macro capability on your device becomes incredibly important, because now wherever your WMS and your applications are being pushed from, it may not be on-premise anymore. And a lot of the larger WMS companies are evolving to the cloud so that they can do a better job pushing out applications, making sure that their customers are covered regardless where they are in the world, especially if they're a large multinational. So the biggest evolution that we see now is voice on the edge, exploiting all the capabilities that some of these really, really robust Android devices have, and that's going to continue to happen because now you've got companies like Zebra who have these wonderful Android devices which now support their new wearable glasses, and that's going to continue to move forward, and being able to exploit all that robust functionality as applications get pushed from wherever. You got to have that voice on the edge, and it's got to be strong. So you're going to continue to see that.
All right. Now, which DC operations realize the greatest benefit from voice recognition technology?
Well, it goes back to the last 2 decades. Picking is always number one. It still is. Picking, voice automation for picking, whether it's piece pick, each pick, case pick, it's always the number one in terms of return on investment and additional productivity and accuracy for organizations. It still is, and it probably still will be for another 20 years. However, the ability for other applications to take advantage of voice automation is significant. We have customers using it for cycle count, returns, receiving, put away, restocking, shipping, cross-docking. The ability for customers to understand the real capability and power of voice automation, since they know their processes and applications so well, once there's an understanding of how the capability can be integrated, they come up with where the biggest capability jump is going to be. They know their processes better, and they say, I could use voice here in receiving. It's going to save us a lot of time, less touches over here if I can automate this put-away application a little bit better, this cycle count, if I can just have the person keeping their eyes up. They'll tell us which application they want to do next. But there's no reason why you can have multiple applications. We have customers that have 16 to 33 different workflow processes voice automated once they understand how easy it is to integrate voice automation on the edge device.
Has AccuSpeechMobile done anything to increase DC accuracy rates?
In concert with scanners. Scanners are a great step to increase accuracy, because once you scan it, it's 100% correct. So we always try to take it to the 99.999%. The ability for removing user touches. User touches and user input are the biggest detriment to accuracy there is. And that's not and when you're in the 99s, it's not that big of a deal. But if we can remove user physical interfaces with devices and with tablets and utilize voice automation, it takes the opportunity to make a mistake away. And that's where we shine, because you don't have to look at the screen, you eliminate those touches, you just listen and you talk, the data is input properly, and you move on to the next thing. So we're always striving to get to 100, always.
Now, does AccuSpeechMobile support multiple languages?
Absolutely. In fact, we've got installations all around the world, Greek, Thai, French, Russian, everywhere. And we support over 40 languages worldwide. The real step forward that we've made now is you can have multiple languages for the same application, the same projects, the same implementation on the same device.
Wow.
Again, we're exploiting the robustness of, for instance, the Zebra 5 series and the 7 series. We can put additional applications and projects to support multiple applications, so that when a user logs in here in the U.S., if they want to pick between Spanish and English, they can. If they're in France and they want to pick between French and English, they can. So we continue to try to make it as flexible as possible, so that anybody, again, in a multinational customer perspective, can support any language and multiple languages on a single device.
Wonderful. Now, can voice technology reduce ramp-up time for new and seasonal staff as well?
So we're back to, what do I do today to make it more productive and faster? And the ramp-up time for new workers, whether they're seasonal or new, is significant. Our customers show what used to take months or a couple of months to ramp up now is in hours and days.
Wow.
Because with the optimization of the application through voice automation, and also your voice enabling your existing applications, so it makes it even easier because the workflows have already been optimized. So the ramp-up time does become significantly lower. Again, you're talking about hours and days instead of weeks and maybe a month.
Oh.
So it's significant, especially now, because overall we're talking about the dearth of workers and how difficult it is to find people. If you can pick up 20 to 30% with your existing workforce, and the people that you bring on board can spin up even faster, this is going to really take a bite out of that challenge, because now you don't maybe need as many people or need to hire as many new people, and you're bringing them up to rate, within days, and that has a significant, powerful impact on this challenge of having a difficult time finding workers.
Yeah, that's definitely impressive. Now, what is a good strategy to automate repetitive tasks woven into the workflow?
That is a great question, because when we started to do what we call robotic process automation, when we started to see that our technology could automate these processes, we really struggled with the best way to show our potential customers how this works. So what we do now is we actually go on site and we work with our customers. We really evaluate their processes. We work with the folks who really know exactly how their workflows work, and we uncover the areas to optimize so we can automate these repetitive tasks. We can automate tasks that potentially don't have to be utilized. You don't have to use your fingers anymore. And our team works with their team on site, on their network, with their applications, with their people, to really understand where we can have the most significant impact. And that is, in fact, the best way we've found strategically to show not only the capability of the AccuSpeech technology, but also being able to work with our customers and really understand their workflows, because everyone does it differently. Everyone has optimized their applications, even if there's commonality with the warehouse management system. How they do what they do, how they have effectively attacked e-commerce, how they're moving new products, changing SKUs, everyone does it differently. And so being able to be there and work with those folks so that, because they're the experts, and we can show them what we can do together, a lot can get accomplished, a lot.
So how can AccuSpeechMobile increase productivity for the existing workforce?
That's actually in the best possible way. Utilizing your existing workforce is the best way to increase productivity. If they're very, very familiar with the workflows, again, we previously discussed how your current workers who know your workflow the best can also be the most creative in terms of its solutions. Mm-hmm. If they can help you increase productivity through understanding where the automation can occur, that's a big win for everybody. Yeah. And they know it, because this is voice optimizing and voice automating an application they've been using for years. So they could say, yeah, we've always had this issue out. We can always do this. This is, something that I've always wished we could possibly do. And these are the things that we listen to and that we automate. And that's the way that you can increase productivity. And again, most of these organizations, they bonus their folks on doing, more than the average productivity, more than the average accuracy. Mm-hmm. So if we can make it even better, the workers are excited because they potentially could make more remuneration. So that's what we want. We want everybody to be happy with the deployment of this type of an application. So.
Now, can AccuSpeechMobile reduce seasonal workforce requirements?
Absolutely. The ability to train up new seasonal and new workers in days versus weeks or a month is a significant impact, especially once we do the automation that's potentially there for us to do. So it can save a company lots of time and money for this type of a resource. Absolutely.
Now, how powerful can the synergy of voice-enabled commands and automated work sequences on the device be? And can you share a use case with our audience on that?
The ability to voice automate commands and work sequences, again, you're talking about, kind of a robotic process automation in the application itself, it can be transformational for an organization. For instance, if a worker is going along and let's say they're in a case picking environment, and they come to a location and they scan the location and they scan the product and they see that there's damage. Let's say there's 5 damage cases. Ordinarily, they'll have to leave the application that they're in. They'll go back to the main menu. They'll select damage. They'll rescan the location. They'll rescan the product SKU. They'll go in and fill in all the information, and then they'll hit it, and then they'll come back, and then they'll go back to where they were, and they'll rescan the location, and then rescan the product and pick what they were supposed to pick in that location. Now, we have customers that when they're picking along and they pick, and they're at the location they scan the product, they see 5, they just say damage 5. And everything that I just talked about is done in the background.
Wow.
It's all automated. So they can just continue to pick, put it on their pallet, and then move forward to the next thing. The whole point is the ability to not have to touch it, not have to do anything. Everything happens. It was supposed to happen in the background. All the fields are inputted correctly. Everything gets pushed to the WMS. And if you multiply that by 100 workers 4 times a day, how much time do you pick up? So if you have something that used to take a minute to a minute and a half, and now all of a sudden it takes 4 seconds, and I can do that on multiple workflows and multiple times, now all of a sudden people are really starting to understand edge-based voice automation, because those are the types of things that our customers exploit every day.
All right, Bob, so would you like to add anything to our conversation before we wrap up for today?
There's a lot of strategies and things that I'm watching our customers and our potential customers do. There is a significant acceleration to leave the Microsoft operating system to go to Android devices, but nothing compared to, the reaction to COVID. People are looking at absolutely anything they can do at this point to improve the options that are available to them right now. So there's always been, from our perspective, the long game approach to this type of implementations, and that's smart. And you have to look long. But right now there is this huge push because there's not enough people, and this unbelievable growth in e-commerce and just delivery. So, these experts are, these professionals, they need something today. I need something now. So what we're seeing is folks who've already made the investment in newer edge-based technology, like say the new Zebra devices, and they've got they're starting to deploy their cloud WMS solutions so that they can deliver to more of their warehouses more effectively and faster. This type of opportunity for AccuSpeech is tremendous, because we're the technology that they can load on those devices that can support in all these areas. And this is something that you can do in 6 weeks. This is something that we can deploy at our customers or potential customers in 6 weeks. So you're going to start to see ROIs in less than 8 months, because we can put together a solution like no other for this in this particular perspective. And this growth of edge-based voice and this growth of improved productivity and accuracy is just going to continue. Like I said, the next 3 years, it's going to be very, very significant. So we see an extremely robust opportunities for voice automation, certainly in the next 3 years, but for the foreseeable future.
All right, Bob, so now where can our audience get more information on AccuSpeechMobile's voice and vision solution?
Well, there is all kinds of wonderful information on our website, AccuSpeechMobile.com. And if anyone is interested in a solution that they can deploy in 4 to 6 weeks to improve productivity and take advantage of edge-based voice automation, they should get in touch with us, and we can certainly discuss the on-site proof of concept that we had discussed previously about how we show potential customers what the power of automation can be on their network, on their WMS, with their applications on their devices. And it only takes a couple of days. I mean, literally 2 days, and we can show the full functionality and capability on-site so that customers and managers and everybody can get a feel for exactly what the impact it can have in a very short period of time.
All right, Bob. Well, hey, I certainly appreciate you joining us here on the Outlook series again, and wish you the best of luck with your endeavors over there at AccuSpeechMobile.
Thanks, Michael. It's always a pleasure being on with you.
Thanks for joining us today, and be sure to log on to the Outlook series site for your business and technology news.